Today's video is a quick update on the CNC router build and the progress I've made since the last video. Nothing super glamorous today, but a lot of small improvements to make the machine easier to live with, easier to maintain, and hopefully more reliable long term. So let's get into it.
Welcome to GraberWorks. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, please like, subscribe, and comment.
Welcome back to GraberWorks. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. On this channel, I work on old machines, restorations, and whatever other shop projects I manage to get myself into. One of the first things I worked on was upgrading the grease fittings on the bearing blocks. Originally, I was using standard straight grease fittings, and while they technically work, I found them to be a real pain. The grease gun is hard to connect in tight spaces. Grease ends up everywhere, and honestly, it just wasn't something I looked forward to doing. The location of these fittings aren't easy to access, and trying to snap a grease gun onto a straight fitting in a confined space was getting frustrating fast. So I decided to switch to low-profile zero grease fittings. With these, all I have to do is push the grease gun nipple straight against the fitting. No snapping on, no fighting angles. They're still a little messy, but they're way easier to use and cleanup is much quicker. This is one of those small upgrades that doesn't seem like much, but it makes regular maintenance far more likely to actually happen, and that's always a good thing. The next improvement I worked on was cleaning up the cooling system for the spindle. This system includes a cooling tank and pump, fans and a radiator, a flow indicator, computer cooling fluid, plug fittings and union fittings, a temperature gauge, hose, and a handful of 3D printed parts. Overall, the system has worked really well, but I wanted to clean things up and make it a bit more secure. One thing I plan on changing in the future is the hose. The hose I'm currently using isn't very flexible and puts a bit of strain on the fittings and the components. It works, but I'd like something that moves a little easier. To help support everything better, I 3D printed 2 additional support arms to mount the cooling tank and pump. That helped reduce vibration and made the whole setup feel more solid. I also used union fittings to mount the cooling tank and the flow indicator directly to the radiator, which really helped clean up the layout and reduce unnecessary hose runs. The temperature gauge is currently attached with Velcro because I'm not 100% sure this is where I want it permanently. Velcro gives me the flexibility to move it around until I'm happy with the final placement. So far, I'm really happy with how the system is performing. The temperature hasn't gone over 76 degrees even during longer runs. And best of all, I don't have to deal with frozen water bottles, buckets of water, leaks, or spills anymore. I also went around the system with a handheld temperature gun to check different spots and make sure nothing was getting too hot. Everything looked good and nothing raised any red flags. Next up is the dust collection. I moved the dust collector and rerouted the dust hoses to make everything cleaner and safer around the machine. I also 3D printed a hose support to keep the dust hose off the Z-axis. The goal here is to avoid any future issues with wiring, movement, or the hose rubbing against things it shouldn't. I haven't run the router yet with this new setup, but I did move the machine through its full range of motion to make sure there's plenty of slack in the hose and that nothing is stretching or binding. When I do run the next job, I'll be watching the hose and support very closely to make sure everything behaves the way I expect. I really don't like dust, so this system is designed to collect as much as possible. I also added a 1 micron canister filter to the dust collector to help keep the air cleaner in the shop. Down the road, I plan on hard piping the system overhead with a flexible drop down to the router. That should clean things up even more. I also want to give a quick shout out to Corbin Dunn. Corbin designed and shared the dust shoe I'm using on this CNC router, and it works really well. I use it not only during the cutting, but also to vacuum the table and the finished carvings. I've placed a link to his video in the show notes. Thank you, Corbin. I really appreciate the work you put into this and the fact that you freely shared the model. That's going to do it for this update. The CNC router is coming together piece by piece, and these small improvements really add up when it comes to reliability, maintenance, and day-to-day use. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and feel free to leave a comment if you have questions or suggestions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for watching Graberworks, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe for future videos, and comment. Thanks again.